Hey guys, it's Landyn. Today we're talking about a hot topic, crickets versus roaches in the feeder world. So, there's pros and cons of both. A couple of pros about the Dubia roaches. First things first, they are a lot higher in protein. So if you're trying to get your animal nice and beefed up, they are a great source. On top of that, they are a lot cleaner and they don't smell as much. They don't jump, so you're not gonna have them hopping all over the tank. And then lastly, one thing, it's kind of sad, but crickets do bite. So if you leave some over in the tank at night, there's always a chance that you could wake up to an animal that's got a couple of bites on them. Dubias do not bite, so you won't have to worry about that issue either. A couple of cons about Dubias. First is that they do burrow. So if you leave them in the tank overnight, they could burrow down and your animal won't find them. You may not find them till they die, and then you got a little bit of a mess to clean up. Cool thing about crickets is that they don't burrow, they stay on top. But the one thing about them is if you have a hide and they're all gone, they're usually gonna be on the underside of the hide. So you always wanna make sure that you go and clear those out so you don't have any extra crickets laying around. So then a couple of pros about crickets. First things first is they don't burrow, so you won't have any issues with them going under the ground, so your animal can find them a lot easier. And then the biggest one is they are a lot cheaper. We sell them here $1.49 per dozen, compared to our Dubias are a bit more on the pricey end. And so you can buy a bigger bulk of crickets for a cheaper price if you're trying to stay on the low end of the budget. So crickets have a couple of cons on them. First things is they chirp. If you don't like the same sound over and over and over again, I would not go crickets. They love to chirp. And like I said before, they do hop around. So if your animal isn't the best at being a hunter, they're gonna have a harder time going after those. They do smell a bit more than your Dubia roaches. They tend to stink, especially if you buy in big batches of them. They tend to stink a bit more, and they produce a lot of poop as well. Crickets also aren't super high in protein. So if you have an animal on the leaner side and you're trying to get them a bit on the bigger side, usually you wanna go with the Dubias just because crickets, there's not much to them. Compared to Dubias, crickets are not the best source of protein. Dubias will get your animal a lot beefier quicker compared to the crickets will kind of keep them on the leaner side. So those are the pros, cons with Dubias and crickets on the feeder side. Between Dubias and crickets, I definitely prefer Dubias. But again, there's nothing wrong with doing the crickets, but eventually Dubias will be a better source of protein as they get older.